Welcome back to another video, guys. It's your man Jay Will. So this is a brief discussion video on the Pixel 3. So if you don't like discussion videos, this is your disclaimer to go ahead and click off. It's just going to be me talking, not going to do a whole bunch of animations and B-roll and things like that. I'm just going to talk about using the Pixel 3 as my daily driver for the last 72 hours. So let's get into this video. So a lot of people get caught up into the specs of a phone, and I try to avoid that at all costs because there's a lot of phones out there that I purchase or sometimes I get them in for review that are very good, and they do not have the highest specs according to something on paper, like my OnePlus 6, 8 gigs of RAM, my Vivo Nex, 8 gigs of RAM. And there's just plenty of phones out there, this one included, that really flies. So in this video, I just wanted to talk to you guys briefly about what it's like to use the Pixel 3, the smaller version, opposed to the Pixel 3 XL, which I did go check out that device. And once again, shout out to Google for sending this over for review. But I was already purchasing this phone regardless because I bought the Pixel 2. For some reason, I like the smaller Pixel devices. I don't like the big clunky design in hand feel of the Pixel 2 XL. Or the Pixel 3 XL, and I know that sounds strange because I love big phones, but some phones I just like to have a smaller version of it. I don't like to have a bunch of big phones. And feel in hand with this phone has been absolutely fantastic. A lot of people have said, you know, why would you get the smaller version? You need to get a bigger version. I think people who say that can't clearly, they're thinking of themselves. They're not thinking about the reviewer. They're not thinking about, this is my experience, me, Jay Will. You're thinking about yourself. And you know, when you're watching a YouTube video and you're thinking of a review or something, and a person is telling you, man, this feels great, and you guys are saying, oh, it looks too small in your hands and stuff like that. Who wants to, not me, I don't want to do the two-hand thing. Even though I have big hands, that doesn't mean that I want to have a big phone all the time. Having a big phone in my pocket is horrible, especially because when I go out, more than likely I got a case on it or something. And this phone right here works very well with cases. It's small enough, but when did 5.5-inch screens become small? You know, this is a pretty decent sized screen, and more importantly, they have the top and bottom speaker, which is great. I love the way this phone feels in the hand. I don't have to use it with two hands, and that's the advantage of me having larger hands. The feel in hand of this phone is fantastic. I mean, it is just a win-win, and it's going to be a win-win for a lot of customers. Now, people with smaller hands are going to tell you this is a big phone because it pretty much, it's not that it's a big phone, it's a narrow phone, but it's got a pretty nice footprint because, again, this is a 5.5-inch display. So this phone isn't small by any means, but it is small. You know what I'm saying? So the feel in hand for me, it's fantastic. This is just right. I don't think I would like the Pixel 3 XL. I went and used it, and I was like, yeah, this is way too big for me for this type of, for this phone. For some reason, and that's weird. Like I said, I can use the Vivo Nex and love it, but the Vivo Nex is lightweight. It weighs about as much as this phone, you know what I'm saying? And the design of the Vivo Nex is really clean, sleek. But we shall see how a long-term review of this holds up. Now, I gave you a long spiel about the feel in hand. Now let's talk about the actual hardware and experience itself. So the speakers on here, top notch. I think they sound really, really good when watching media content and viewing things because they're facing you, so that's always going to be a plus. Now, there are phones out there that actually do not have front firing speakers, and they sound fantastic too. They have a bottom firing speaker, you know, or they have one in the speaker up on the earpiece. You know, anytime a speaker is facing you, even if it's two bad speakers or three bad speakers, it's probably still going to be a little bit better than a bottom firing, especially a back firing speaker. Back firing speakers are just the worst nowadays. So I don't suggest that a person goes out and tries to buy a phone. I don't think I could recommend a phone with a back firing speaker. That would just be weird. But the screen, along with those dual speakers, it's a 1080p OLED display. And it's absolutely fantastic, man. I just don't have that many complaints about the phone as far as the hardware, except for it being really slippery. And that's probably going to be one that I have probably with every phone that has this type of feel. This is a glass feel, you know what I'm saying? It's a soft touch, but it's not as matte as it looks. It looks flat, and it looks like it's a really matte, real good matte surface, but it's not as matte as, and it's really a slippery foam along the sides too. It's really slippery because this is an aluminum frame on here, so they chose to polish it up, you know what I'm saying, and make it uniform with the design of the phone. Not hating for that. Overall, though, the hardware on here is fantastic to me. I mean, I'm not a fan of glass phones, but since they added this, glass backings, but since they added like this frost on here, it gives it a, you know, it makes me fall in love with it and like it a little bit more. And I like the Pixel 2's design like this, a smaller one. Remember, I really like that design. And I think what they did with this was they kept the best thing, that the part about this design is they kept the same size phone as the Pixel 2 and stretched out more screen. And then they still gave you your front firing speakers. I mean, who wouldn't want like that? Now, the two cameras on the front have proved to be very useful. But one thing I have found is that when I'm not zoomed in, sometimes the phone, I guess it saves the last thing I did, because if I turn on the camera and, you know, right now it's zoomed, it was zoomed like out. It was zoomed all the way out. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to have it, you know, in the center. So, and then when I found myself doing front-facing photos and things like that, by default it was to the zoom, but I realized that it stays in the last position that you last used it. So if I was shooting a video or taking a photo in it with the zoomed all the way out, that's the last position of it. And that's not like it's not a bug or anything. That's just what it is. But the cameras on here, the fact that Google is doing such fantastic work. These are, I mean, I hate to say it, but right now as it stands, I like these cameras better than any camera that I have in my catalog, even the Vivo Nex, for photos. It is astonishing, the quality of, and every time I bring up that, I gotta get the water drop. If you want this wallpaper, I took it with this phone, so it's down in the link in the description down below if you want to download it. But you know, the photos on here, they have like that super zoom or whatever. So basically, I take the photo, right? I snap it, and then I can do raw images, or I can do just a regular JPEG. But the best part about it is if you zoom in on the photo, crystal clear. Crystal clear. It's unreal, man, how nice the photos come out with this phone. It's just unbelievable that Google has that type of technology. And this is probably a drop in the bucket. They don't even release the real tech for another year or two. You know what I'm saying? They're 2-3 years ahead. I was watching this developer who recently quit Google, his 6-figure job, and went on his own. And he said that Google has stuff in there that's way out. They have so much tech that they're not even going to bring it to the surface yet. And the fact that Google can do this type of photos with a single camera, it just kind of puts all these cameras to shame that's doing 5 cameras, 4 cameras. There's really no need for that on the back of a phone. Put in the work, get the image processing correct, and you're good to go. You don't need a telephoto lens. You want a telephoto lens, because this is the trend that seems to be happening right now. And that's for real. You don't need a telephoto lens. You want a telephoto lens because now you're spoiled with 2 lenses. You also don't need a depth sensor because look, Google's doing it all with one camera on the rear. And so they're putting other people to shame. And it's kind of like, how is it that you feel like you have to put all these cameras? I mean, and that's not taking shots at other people, like other companies that are doing 3 and 4 and 5 cameras. It's not a shot at you. It's just to say, step your game up, because this camera right here and the one on the front, both of these cameras, hotness. Now, video is another story. Video is a more leveled playing field, because the cameras for video, the first thing is the audio. Now, we don't know why right now. Everybody's got their own explanation as to why, but we don't know why, in fact, the audio sounds the way it sounds. What if Google comes back and says, oh no, we did it like that, or you could change it in the settings for your audio? We don't know. But what we do know is that the audio is not on par. It's not on par, man. So I gave a quick fix for it. I decided to, because I'm going to use this phone for videos on the channel. I've actually already done it a couple times. But Google needs to fix this. I hope they fix it, because even though I gave that quick fix on how to do an external mic with it, or any phone, but for that matter, even though I gave that quick fix, that's not a solution. That's just a temporary fix. So Google, if you're watching, definitely got to get your microphone game up. Is it because of the waterproofing? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say that the video quality is, I like it. Photos, obviously, this is the #1 camera for photos for me. But video, again, that's a level playing field with all the other flagships. And I don't think Google really harps too much on, well, I'll tell you one thing. Stabilization, Google is winning. Stabilization on this phone, even at 4K, is ridiculous. I mean, did you see the video that I put up for the 4K stabilization? It's sick, man. The only flaw with the video recording is the audio. The audio is tinty, and it's not even that it's bad, but it doesn't sound the best. Well, let's admit it, it doesn't sound the greatest. There's no tone to it. There's no bass. It's just a high pitch squeal almost. You know what I'm saying? So they could fix that probably with an update. I hope so. I hope it's not hardware based. I really hope so. Because I don't foresee Google telling everybody, we're going to send you a new phone. We made a new batch. We're sorry. I just don't think that's happening, man. Yeah. But, you know, overall, fantastic experience. I just don't have any complaints about it. Now, here's something that's a pro and a con. Battery life. Now, the good part about it is this phone gets about 5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time. Nearly every charge. Bangs out at least 5.5, like literally getting 5.5 hours screen on time. The bad part is it doesn't last, depending on when I charge the phone, it won't last over a 24-hour charge. Because if you know, I do measure phones by screen on time, but I really like to measure them by the standby time. Because when I use my phone, yeah, it may be working, but I don't want to charge in a 24-hour time frame. And, you know, before some of you guys say, oh, it's not realistic, or mine does it, remember, battery life depends on the user. Always remember that. Battery life is not subject to just one fits all. Battery life depends on the user. And for my usage, I can't get more than 16.5 hours or 17 hours on a battery. But with that, I'm getting about 5.5 to 6, almost 6.5 hours of screen on time. So it's working. I just don't like to charge that fast. So I honestly have found myself popping it on the Google stand. The Pixel stand is just by far one of the best pieces of tech from Google that I've seen in a minute. It is so nice, folks. If you don't have the Pixel stand, I don't know, man, that's $79. It might be justified. You have to decide for yourself. Buy it, try it. You don't like it, you don't think it's worth it, return it. They got a return policy. But I like the Pixel stand. Coupled with the fast charging the Pixel stand, it charges so fast, you know what I'm saying? So the phone may not last as long as I want it off the charger, but I am getting pretty decent screen on time. So Pixel 3 XL owners, you should rejoice because you're gonna get fantastic battery. I mean, your battery life is gonna be stupendous. There's a big word for you. So, you know, that's my experience with the battery life. I don't know, man. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. I don't know that that's considered bad battery life. I just want to be off the charger longer. That's it. I want to be off the charger longer. That's all I want. I want that same 5.5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time, but I want it over 36-hour time frame. And some of you guys might say it's not possible. It's possible. But the strange part is, let's move to the next thing I want to talk about is software. The strange part is this phone is optimized flawlessly. I have not had so much as a hiccup. I mean, I haven't had any problems. There's been no crashes. There's been nothing. I've got all of my apps loaded on here like I do every Android phone. This by far is one of the smoothest running Android phones that I have. I looked at it next to the Essential phone. It runs faster. The Essential phone runs a Snapdragon 835 with 4 gigs of RAM. However, it's still running 4 gigs of RAM, and the Snapdragon 835 is a very stable processor. But this phone it runs fast. There's absolutely no crashing. There's no nothing, folks. If you like performance, you're gonna love this phone. You're gonna love this phone. It performs so well, so well. It really does. I just don't have any complaints about the software, and I like stock Android, so obviously I'm gonna like it. I'm looking for some things that, is it gonna mess up right here? What's it gonna do here? And I just haven't had any issues, none whatsoever. So, and I don't anticipate having any. You know what I'm saying? If Google will update this phone, like if I had this phone, like I had to keep this phone for 4 years, or I had it for 4 years. And that's not about keeping it. I just had it for 4. I'm on year 4. I want the software to be updated just the way Apple does their software updates. I don't want to guarantee 2 software updates, like 2 years. I want it all, man. I want to have the full suite of software updates. Give me at least 4 to 5 years of updates. Give the people their money's worth, But, using the phone overall for the last going on 4 days, I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. I got a different case too. I got another case that I've been trying out, and I also have a boatload of other cases coming in. Tempered glass, Whitestone Dome should be arriving soon. But overall, man, the experience with the Google Pixel 3, and again, I briefly used the 3XL. I just don't like the size of that phone. And that's just what it is. The only difference between the two is the 3XL has a bigger battery. You know what I'm saying? It's got the same camera, same processor. It's just, you got a bigger screen. But these phones have IP ratings. They got wireless charging. And look for my review on the earbuds that come in the box. You're gonna be surprised. The fact that they give you those, I'm shocked, because they sell them for 30 bucks, and they should give them to you. You know what I'm saying? They should give them to you for the price that they want for the phone. That's a high quality set of Type-C headphones. You get a dongle and everything, but when you run those buds that they give you, you can control Google Voice with it. You can control, Google Assistant. You can control everything. Right, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch your phone if you don't want to. But more importantly, most people might not use it for that. They want quality sound. You're gonna get it with those buds. So look for my review on that. But anyway, man, my overall thoughts on the phone so far, it's a win, man. The price is subjective to the person that's buying it. So again, I was buying this phone. I was gonna buy the white one because you guys know I like the white one. I said that on social media. I'm buying the white one. I literally had the phone in my cart and was about to check out. It was late at night, but I was having problems with Google's system. And I was like, why can't I get... Next thing you know, I got an email from Google. So I'm like, cool, cancel the order. And that solved that issue. Now, whenever they ask for the phone back, maybe I'll go in and order the white one. But I know what my experience is with this. It is fantastic. It's fantastic. It has just been a glorious experience. The size of the phone is perfect. I mean, you guys know I like my G7. Check out the video where I put these against each other. You know I like the G7, and it's like just the best. It's great, man. The G7 keeps doing the facial unlock, right? Because it has facial unlock. This phone does not have facial unlock. And normally Android, you go into the security settings, and it'll tell you, under your lock, right? I didn't see facial unlock, so I could be wrong. Let me look at it. Oh, I think it's under smart unlock. Let me just make sure. So you've got, no, it doesn't have facial unlock. It has body detection, trusted places, trusted devices, and voice match. So there's no facial unlock with this thing, even though you got the 2 cameras up there, and it could very well take advantage of it. It's just, I don't know. This is what it is. It's just what it is. Would have really been nice. Would have really been nice. Because I'm sure it would have been really fast. I'm sure it would have been really fast. But anyway, the feel in hand with a case on, I really like the Pixel 3. I like the Pixel 3 so nicely. It's just nice, man. Good size, good performance, fantastic cameras. Battery life, I need a little more standby time. You know, overall, my experience with the Pixel 3, it's been pretty good, man. I'm not gonna front. So if you haven't already seen it, look in the description below and look for my Team Pixel private room. I will be closing the doors on that room soon, and it'll go back to invite only. So if you haven't joined the Team Pixel Squad, or it's Pixel Squad actually, my buddy LaShawn runs that chat with me over there, and you know, come correct, and you can stay in there. We can have fun with talk Pixel and Android and all types of phones and stuff all day long. But click that link in the description, because again, I'm closing that off pretty soon. I'm gonna lock the room back up, you know what I'm saying? Because I only want people in the room who's actually gonna contribute something, some good conversation, you know, smartphoneconversations.com. So the Pixel 3, for now, it's actually one of my best phones. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. You know what we gotta do, we gotta fade out.